enjoy, enjoy, enjoy.
Hey, tribe, it's your girl Tonya, and we are back in the building. We've been away for a little while, just trying to regroup and get some things together. I tell you, but things looking up, things are absolutely wonderful. Getting ready for my birthday trip. I'll be going to Greece. And while in Greece, I'll be in Athens, I'll be in Mykonos, and then the last leg is Santorini. So I am so looking forward to another God trip. I'll tell you guys another time about the trip to Dubai and then to Egypt, which was life changing. But I'm so glad to be back with you, tribe. And I hope you guys missed me as much as I missed you. I want you to I want you to subscribe. We have some wonderful things coming up this year. Um, this conversation that we're about to have today is part one. Also, I have a prayer line that I would love for you to share in. So keep your eyes open for that. I'll put it on social media. All the social media platforms. And yeah, you guys can come and share. God is trying to take us to a whole nother dimension. With that being said, again, welcome, welcome, welcome. We have a special guest in the house, Miss Arlene, and we're gonna ask her who she is. She's going to tell us a little bit about who she is. I think that she's a dynamic. So, you guys know what I do on here. I illuminate people that are doing amazing things in the community at large. And so, she's no exception. And so, I want her to come and tell us a little bit about herself, and then we're gonna get into the work. We're gonna get into the meat of this thing. And actually, it's happened so organically because we had a whole different topic, and then while sitting waiting for some technical stuff to get resolved, we are going to be talking about something different. So with that being said, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank
I
you.
call her Miss A. We're going to let her tell us a little bit about who she is and what she's doing out here in our community.
Hello. Thank you, Tanya. Thanks for
You're
having me on.
welcome.
My name is Arlene. This whole idea with me coming on kind of started with some conversations that we had that I'm truly passionate about. And
Mhm.
one of those things is being the Black community, our youth,
Mm.
um, and mental health. I think all those things are something that is truly dear to my heart.
Mhm.
I want to become more involved in our community. I definitely think the Black community, we're struggling, and I think there's things that I need to do, um, and we can talk about these things, but we also have to come up with a solution
Mhm.
for this to happen. So that's a little bit about me, and how I'm here right now. So I'm excited, and hopefully we can continue and go from there.
Absolutely, absolutely. She'll be back in the building with us. And if you guys have any questions, concerns, topics, things that you want to add to our conversations, so we're going to say that this is part one. Um, we can start off, Miss A, if you don't mind, with talking about, or I have a question, and that is, do we still have community? Right? And then we'll dialogue a little bit about that. And then we'll get into the relationship piece. But that is something that I don't know. I'm going to let you start. Do you think that community still exists and why?
Um, I pondered that question a little bit and kind of went back and forth. So initially, I would say absolutely 100%.
Mm.
And then I think I really have rethought that question a lot and like, do community really exist? And so to answer that, and as far as the Black community, I think that's one of the things that's lacking is community involvement. I think as time has went on, we have seen the changes within our community. There was a point in time where people had your back. We knew who lived next door to us.
Mm-hmm.
And if we got in trouble, our mothers, our
Mm-hmm.
fathers would know about it.
Mm-hmm.
We supported each other in that. And I feel like we lack that. I kind of have a personal experience that kind of I went back on. I'm a traveler. Well, I was traveling in Maryland and on like a temporary, like a 4 months assignment. And I
Mm-hmm.
was living in a townhome amongst probably 98% all black. And I had a home invasion that happened in broad daylight at 8 o'clock in the morning. The door was knocked down. There was a lot of different things that happened, but one of the things that I remembered and stood out was that not one person asked the question, came to see how I was doing, what happened, because we kind of have this mentality of let's mind our business. It doesn't impact us. Um, and so I think that's one of the things that we're how I would define community in the black community is that we're not speaking up. We're not helping each other out. We're not having each other's back like we
Mm-hmm.
used to at one point.
Well, it's definitely lack of community. It's lack
Mm-hmm.
of love, care, and concern because all of those need to be in place. Um, it shouldn't be where you're living in um, a neighborhood or a community where you do know your neighbors and someone can just roll up in there without someone saying something.
Yes.
I think there's been so much fear that has been um, perpetrated. People have a fear that's been ingrained. I think the narrative now we're watching in real time people being killed. Um, we have police officers going into people's homes talking about they thought it was their home. These are things that we experience day to day, the injustices. And I think that we've become um, calloused sort of to the travesties that are happening. And so, we become afraid. I personally am not. I think that young people in particularly need that guidance.
Absolutely.
But, at the end of the day, people are afraid to say anything. And I'm a believer in I am my brother's keeper. It's not sustainable to be in a place where it's me, my four, and no more. It's not sustainable. We have to um, be more loving with one another. And when we get on the relationship piece, that's another piece of it where we're just so um, careless with each other. And
Absolutely.
so, yeah, unfortunately, we're living in a time when I'll record um, the trauma happening. I'll record what's going on, but I'm not going to intervene. That is insane.
Right.
That is insane. So that's why I believe that community has diminished. I mean, you have pockets of people that understand the principle, understand that it's going to take love, care, and concern. That is what community is being able to say to a young woman or a young man, pull up your pants, or to a young lady, why are you out here acting like that? And without her mother or his, you know what I'm saying, him jumping on you about that. I don't know. It's crazy out here right now. But I think that the blood is going to be required on somebody's hands. And I
Right.
think that the elders, you know, need to just stand their ground. We need to stand our ground and talk and yeah, communicate one with another. Um, yeah, so that's why I think it's diminished, but I haven't given up hope.
No, absolutely not. And I think that's the thing is that we can never lose hope.
Mm,
Um, and I would agree with 100% of everything that you have just said, that people are afraid. And I
mhm,
think we're afraid to
mhm,
sometimes stand up and say, really what we're thinking.
mm,
But, sometimes saying something makes a difference in a person's life,
mhm,
besides just sitting back and saying, that has no concern of mine. And I
mhm,
think we can kind of gauge when that truly applies. But when it comes to our youth, which is our future,
mm,
I think it's very important for us to get on them and say, you know what? I think we can do this a different way. Or, you know what, young man, young lady, that's not how we do this here and stuff. But again, these kids are kind of wilding out a little bit. And there's a lot that's going on in their space as well. And so I
Hmm.
think we just have to be able to get to them, reach to them, get on their level and try to really listen to them and figure out like what is really going on here.
Absolutely.
You know, and I think in Denver
Absolutely.
right now, we're seeing so much of the gun violence, which is a whole nother topic. And it's scary, it's sad, and we shouldn't be here. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I really want to explore that. And I think that, you know, there's a lot that's going on with kind of brainstorming about
Hmm.
how do we, you know, the mental health aspects of kids in the classroom, and
Hmm.
for those for providers to be, we need mental health providers in the schools, open door
Hmm.
policy. And I'm not talking about one mental health professional. I'm talking about 10, 15 of
Hmm.
those
Hmm.
available, open door policy, because kids are coming in and dealing with so many different things. But
Hmm.
I know that might be a little off topic of where we was heading.
Not at all. We're talking about community, and it's all inclusive. We can't we can no longer be in this box. Like this is what we need to get out of the box,
Absolutely.
um, and explore. And I've been working with kids for over 32 years, young adults, um, in the jail system, in the prison system. Um, I ran a group center for girls, for high risk and at risk
Mm,
girls. I've worked in the school system 11, 12 years. So I've had my share. And I
yes.
happen to know that kids can, or young people can detect if you're not being authentic, if you're not being real, if you're, you know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? And I think that they so long to be directed.
Absolutely.
They long for instruction, but they have to feel like they're being heard as well. We living in a society where I don't think a lot of young people even feel heard. The elders need to say, "Okay, I hear you. Sit down and listen," and vice versa, so that they can be corrected. Because the youth is where the strength is, right?
Absolutely.
The older is where the wisdom is.
Hmm.
And if somehow we can come together, I think it's going to be a beautiful union.
Absolutely.
Um, I mean, the topic is so broad. I just really, I, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys out there think? I want you guys to put in the comment section. Do you think or do you feel like community still exists and why you feel the way that you do? And are you a part of the solution? I think it's time out for saying that this is wrong and that's wrong
Right.
without offering a solution, right? Being the
Amen to that.
example or modeling that what you want to see have happen. I think that that's huge
Hmm.
to begin to actually model that, um, so that someone else can see, because maybe they don't have a point of reference, and maybe you can be that their point of reference that this is possible.
Yes.
Someone caring enough to say, nah, how about you not do that, or take a moment to think about the consequences
Hmm.
of your actions. Yeah, we're living in a pretty volatile
Absolutely.
and divisive world
Hmm.
right now.
Hmm.
Um, I was talking with someone, and their daughter had was cutting her and some of her friends, and it was, I guess there was a TikTok that was out that they were following. So,
Hmm.
I mean, it's just so much. Had another young lady was confused about um, calling these pronouns, right? And so she, as a child, was very confused about that, and there was no explanation other than this is what this person is to be called. I mean, so we're dealing with a lot. It's a lot going on, and yeah, we just need to talk about it. We just really need to talk about how do we get community back.
Hmm.
How do we get the big mamas? Because Let me tell y'all something. And I'm not saying, because
Right.
I'm saying young people listen to the wisdom. And I'm saying elders listen to what these young people are saying
Yes.
because they have something to say.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just time out for laying back and sitting back and letting this generation go to Hades in a handbasket because somebody's going to be held accountable. And I just don't want it to be me,
Right.
you know. The creator saying, I gave you a job to do and you didn't do that. And this is why we're in the situation that we're in right now. Hmm.
Hmm.
Things that make you go, hmm.
Right. Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Um, let's talk about let's talk about black love, I guess. Let's talk about
Ooh.
a little bit about relationships, which actually um ties into community because there's
Yes.
definitely a lack of communication, a lack of understanding, a lack of empathy, right? A lack of mm, trying to put yourself in the place of someone else and trying to make this thing work. Um, how would you lead off that conversation in regards to relationships?
Wow, that's that's a little tough because I think we know. Well, not. I shouldn't assume that we know. I think from what I've heard, and I think what a lot of people have experienced, it's dangerous out there in the streets than
Wow.
trying to date and to get to know someone because you just don't know if someone is truly genuine or not. And it
Mm,
requires people kind of being honest. And I don't, truly being honest about what they want, what they're seeking. My experience for myself personally is maybe very different from maybe 20 years ago and what I needed.
absolutely.
So as I've grown and my needs have changed a lot, I no longer, my kids are adults. I'm looking for freedom for myself and to be able to travel and enjoy myself with someone else
Hmm.
without the drama, without just honesty and vulnerability for myself and for that individual, where we can just enjoy each other and be, and that does play a part in the community because I think in the black community that's one of the things that's missing and lacking, and I think that's a whole nother topic as well as far as absent absent fatherhood and fathers being in the household and there's a lot of different reasons for that. So I don't think it's one thing that can kind of pinpoint it, but I
Hmm.
definitely think that I think what we're seeing, and especially with the black children, some of the black children, is that it's created this sense of who am I? 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 I don't know if I know my father. My mother is sitting here working very hard to try to take care of everything, but to also be able to, because at one point, this person is also going to enter a relationship, but not being able to see what love looks like,
Hmm.
and not being able to see the
Hmm.
fight, the struggle, and maybe not struggle, but just love in general. And being able to have those communication skills, because I think most of us I think all of us have a past of some sort, right? And it might be, I mean, damaging, but we have to address those issues because we
Hmm.
can't move forward in a relationship that we haven't addressed ourselves
Hmm.
and our issues.
Absolutely.
So,
Hmm.
um, but it's I think the waters are a little muddy in places when it comes to relationships, and I think social media has had a huge impact on that,
My
and
God.
and the instant gratification
Hmm.
of some of the things that we didn't necessarily have,
Hmm. Hmm.
and people aren't willing to fight for it, but um, so there's a lot there as well, Tanya.
And the narratives that are being on social media that are being portrayed, the narratives are lies. So there was a group, and I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you
Hmm.
know, the messaging,
Yes.
um, having hot girl summers, and
Yes.
you know, I'll have to ask my producer if I could say um, what I would. Well, anyway, you
Yes.
know what I'm saying? And
The whole sliding in
girls,
my DMs.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and jumping up and down. Yeah, I mean, having the smash and grabs and the smash and goals and
Yes.
whatever. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Um, but the people that are sending out this messaging are not in those situations.
Right.
So you have someone talking about, I don't cook, I don't clean, but they do cook and they do clean and they have a whole husband at
Oh,
home.
right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's the messaging. And then with some of us um, older um, humans
Right.
trying to date,
Oh,
um, and you know, and still having to contend with some of that crazy
yes.
messaging. Um,
Absolutely.
it's really tough, but you know, I'm just gonna keep hope alive because I'm one that I believe that God didn't make anything better than the black man,
Absolutely.
right?
Agreed.
Um,
I love it.
and on the other side of that is the black woman, right?
Yes.
So I just, I- it's tough, but I refuse to discard my desires, right? I refuse to discard what I want in a relationship, what I
Right.
want in a man, um, because of what society, because of what the world
Right.
narrative is.
Yes.
We were talking a little bit about that earlier. Just does a man have to make a high six figure um, to be with a woman that's making a high six figure, right? If he brings something else to the table, um,
Mm,
it's
mm,
just
mm.
it's a conversation that really needs to be had, right? Is the woman going to feel um, used? Is the woman going to feel satisfied? Is he willing to step up to the plate, right, and just be that safe space for her to land? And is she going to be that peaceful place, which I think most men, kings really need, just a peaceful place to land? And can
Agreed.
we really be that for each other? I believe so. But there's so many narratives, so many things that we have to dispel, right,
Absolutely.
about one another and even about ourselves. I heard a gentleman say, if the man is a safe space for an alpha female to lay down her masculinity
Yes.
because he's that,
Yes.
what,
Yes.
that she to be feminine,
but
to
you
be, oh my god.
but you realize that takes a lot of work to, I mean, and for a man to say that, I commend him for saying that. But
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, I think when you look at what masculinity looks like on a woman and how did she get to that place, she didn't just wake up one day and become masculine. I don't think so. I don't believe
Absolutely.
that to be. I
Absolutely.
definitely believe that, I'm speaking for myself because I'm
Absolutely.
100%
Absolutely.
alpha female. Um, and I've been told over and over and over again in multiple relationships that I can't do this, Arlene. I wear the pants and you have to play your part. And I'm like, what part is that? I don't necessarily know what part that is because the only part that I know is what has gotten me to who I am today.
Mhm.
And not that I'm not willing to look at myself and realize like what, because I don't know what that looks like to the outside. I'd
Mhm.
struggle with what that looks like to the outside. I have no clue what that looks like. And so I try from family to friends to say, when I get the same comment, Arlene, just slow down. Your mouth is a little aggressive. I'm
Mhm.
like, how? I'm just speaking the truth. My mouth isn't necessarily aggressive.
Mhm.
But I definitely think so. There's a lot of work for me to do within
Mhm.
myself and trying to figure that out. But I haven't met anyone also
Mhm.
that and said those exact same words. I have
Mhm.
heard, oh, you need a strong man. Maybe, but maybe not. Because I don't necessarily believe that two alphas can coexist. So maybe I need the beta. Um, I I'm just being, maybe I need the beta because I thought forever I want an alpha male. I need an alpha male.
Mhm.
But
Like you said,
I really realize who
man.
I am right now, and I'm like, oh, we're gonna bump heads. Someone's gonna have to
Wow.
lay down.
Wow. And so, wow, that's very interesting. I'd like to think um that I too am an alpha female, but I'm not one of them alpha female. I personally
Okay.
do not want to continue to be in the driver's seat. Me, I want to be in the passenger seat looking over at my lover, my homie, my dude, my guy, and say, babe, if you want or need me to drive, I will. Um, I do, however, agree that most women that are successful, that are entrepreneurs, or just,
Independent.
independent,
That's really
right?
what it is. It's
Independent.
independence.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. I think that I know I would, like I said, gladly um be in the passenger side of a relationship.
But
And
I
it didn't come overnight. It came from not being in a relationship, right? And having to just hold it down, having to bring home the bacon, fry it up in a pan, not
yes,
let him forget he the man, take care of the kids, do whatever, and you know what I'm saying, and still get out here and make that money, right?
right.
Be in the community
Yes.
for as far as
Hmm.
myself is concerned. Um, you know, and so it started to look like that after years. But like I said,
I, d- I don't want the strong black woman narrative. I'm with you. I don't want to make a decision.
Mm-mm.
The problem that I have with myself, and I'm speaking truly for myself, is
Mm-hmm.
that I don't want to drive. Most of the time, I don't drive because I drive so much for a living as it is. But I don't want to drive. But I find myself that I'm still driving from the passenger seat and still trying to dictate
That's deep,
to
sis.
another human being what to
That's deep,
do.
sis.
So I know from that aspect that
Mm-hmm.
I do have some work to do, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying very hard. And I have my people that remind me constantly, Arlene, there you go again. Please stop doing
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, okay. And so I need to be, I guess, a little bit more aware, but I do believe that with independence, it just comes. And so I don't want to, I'm not trying to take anything away from my guy or
Mm-hmm.
a guy. It's just who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And just like he's who he is. So he'll know, like, I
Mm-hmm.
can't deal with that. Or I'll know, I can't deal with that because the likelihood I have dealt with multiple alpha males
Mm-hmm.
and it's never worked because we're always kind of
Mm-hmm.
butting heads and it always result to you need to be here and I'm here and I can't have that.
So you said something very simple yet profound, that you have identified, and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm in the passenger seat, still trying to drive, right? Still trying to, um, make a left, make a right. This
Yes.
is the way. And I think too that that's the beginning of change, because we have to look at change as, how is it going to serve you,
Right.
right? To allow the man to be a man. And if he's coming in, submissiveness is not about being under his feet
No.
or being, submissiveness is allowing him to be the head.
Yes.
Anything with two heads is a monster, yo, and I don't want to be involved, right? So, but now it has to be a man that is responsible, right?
Yes,
That
absolutely.
um can take care of you emotionally, right?
Yes.
Have you in a, being the vulnerable one, right?
Hmm.
Being in a place where you can just be that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
I can be that damsel in distress with you, and I'm not gonna worry about it because you're not gonna let nothing happen to
To me.
me.
I understand that. I hear that. And some days I would love to be the damsel in distress, but I naturally my instincts doesn't allow that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what that truly is. And I think unfortunately, a lot of black women don't know what the damsel in distress because that has never been our
Oh,
plight.
portion, right?
It's never been. So, but not to say that we also want. I mean, I also think the strong black woman narrative is dead as well. Like that
Right.
has caused a lot of issues
Absolutely.
amongst mental health,
Mm-hmm.
health
Mm-hmm.
issues, all kind of different things that take
Absolutely.
with that. To kind of go back on submission. I mean, I think we again, most men probably would define that a little bit different than for me, and easily for me, it's just being able to trust you.
Mm-hmm.
Do I trust you?
Mm-hmm.
And I can possibly then become a little bit more in character with
Mm-hmm.
the damsel in distress
Mm-hmm.
because I
Mm-hmm.
trust you so much, but not because you're telling me what to do and how to
No,
do
you
it
have to be trustworthy.
yes, and
Absolutely.
stuff. So I think when you trust someone, I think you can get all of those
Absolutely.
things that they are needing.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's kind of like a garden or a plant. You
Mm-hmm.
give it love, you give it the environment to thrive
Mm-hmm.
in. I think
Mm-hmm.
anybody in relationships can flourish and to be anything that you need it to be. So
Mm-hmm.
um I don't know. I just for me the what I was looking for in a relationship definitely has changed over the years and
Absolutely.
what I want because I think I have changed over the
Mm-hmm.
years
Mm-hmm.
um and being an independent woman. I mean, I think with that it's just it's a little, men become a little bit intimidated, but I also think with black women because we tend to be more educated, it's then going back to the question of can you date someone who makes a little bit less than you? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It depends on what we're looking at, right? Are we
Right.
talking about the difference of um, this person doesn't have some of the basic fundamentals of life? Okay, then maybe we got a problem. But if you are a hard worker and you're
Absolutely.
a go getter and you know what you're capable of and you know that there's
Mm-hmm.
more to you, then I'm down. I
Right.
have nothing to say. But it's when
Absolutely.
you choose to be a bum, I can't do bums. But
Right.
so I'm willing to give people an opportunity and a chance, but they have to be willing to give themselves that as well.
Absolutely. Because you can't. I've been there, done that.
Yes, I think
Um,
we all have.
yeah. Fell in love with the potential, thinking
Nope.
all this brother needs is for a woman like me to come in and
Mm-hmm.
love on him and
Fuck
make
potential.
sure, yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, make sure that, you know what I'm saying, make sure that he's eating, make sure that he's, you know what I'm
Mm-mm.
saying, getting love and make sure that the house is clean and I'm looking I'm looking wavy every time, you know what I'm saying? And I found that that just doesn't work,
No, it
right?
doesn't. Absolutely not.
Um, you can, and it's cliche, but you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And then I think that too for me, because being um, a God loving, God
Mm-hmm.
fearing person, I also believe that you have to be equally yoked. And that
Absolutely.
just doesn't mean spiritually.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually is in that unequally yoked. But if you're trying to go left and I'm trying to go right and we're holding hands, it's just not going to
Gonna work.
work.
Absolutely.
Right. I often use this analogy that eagles and pigeons are both birds but they have no fellowship with one
Right.
another only because I believe that the eagle doesn't have any judgment,
Right.
right?
But
Because the pigeon has its place,
right.
but the pigeon just cannot go
Right. So
where the eagle goes.
that's right.
They don't eat the same
Same.
things. They're not afforded the
Right.
same vision
Right.
points,
Right.
right?
No,
And
absolutely.
so thus I feel the same way
Mm-hmm.
about people. I don't have any judgment
No,
about anybody.
absolutely
Some
not.
people want to drive a Bentley and others want to drive a Yugo. Some don't want to drive at all.
Right. That's true.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So there's no judgment. It's just the fact of the matter is that if you're unequally yoked, if you're not, you don't have some,
Level.
you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? It's just not going to work. And so I don't know. And I think we just need to communicate or we're not going to survive, right?
Agreed.
We're not going to survive each other. We're not going to survive as a whole if we don't get this piece together.
I made a decision, and this was, oh gosh, I don't even know how many years ago. And it was out of embarrassment that I kind of made this decision. And I was out with a boyfriend at the time and out with some of my girlfriends. And he asked my boyfriend at the time asked my girlfriend to buy him a drink. Lord Jesus, I almost died. I was like, what did you just do? And she came up to me and she said, girl, your man just asked me to buy him a drink.
Wow.
And from that point on, I knew I don't know. I don't know what we define brokenness as because I've been broke. I think we all been broke at some level, but that was it for me. And I said to myself, I said, I will never ever date another broke man again. And because it was embarrassing, and I was out thinking we're having a good time, and like you couldn't even buy yourself a drink, and you're out with us, and but shame on me. Maybe
Right.
I didn't know, and that was my
Mhm.
piece of learning. And that was a hard lesson to learn, but I had to learn it. I had to understand, like, oh, okay, um,
Wow.
wow, you really did that.
That was just tasteless because I
Very
think
much
that,
so.
as a,
And broke.
yeah, right. And I mean, you could have been broke and said that you didn't have it, but not to ask your woman's friend.
Yes.
That's tasteless.
Oh,
That's
oof.
tactless,
I learned.
if you will.
That was good
Right.
though. I take every experience as a learning experience. And I
Absolutely.
learned a lot from that situation. And I just said, and I honestly, I think the relationship, I think it ended. I was just like, I can't do this. I won't do this. This is not okay. And again, going back into money, because money comes up in every situation. Finances
Hmm.
play a huge role in that.
Absolutely.
And I think, we have to be able to help one another and lift
Hmm.
each other in some form. But I mean, but
Absolutely.
that's not necessarily me going in my pocket because I've never been that. I'm just very uncomfortable with that. I mean, I'm uncomfortable giving any male money.
Hmm.
Maybe again, something I'm working through because I do believe I do still have that traditional value. So, people might call it, hypocritical in some ways because I do believe traditionally that a man should take care of a woman, although I take care of myself. But I'm willing to help, but I don't know what that help looks
Hmm.
like. I think it's
Hmm.
more through my mouth and
Hmm.
encouragement, but not through my bank account.
Hmm. I got you. I got you.
Hmm.
That's very, very interesting. Me, I'm a giver.
Okay.
Um, it's one of my love languages.
All
So
right.
like I'm real easy to like gift.
Okay.
Um,
I love to gift too,
but
though.
yeah, I'm a giver. But God has told me to stop giving my pearls to swine,
Mm,
right?
okay.
Because they will trample under feet and rend you again.
Yes.
They gonna do the same
Yes.
thing,
Absolutely.
those people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then it becomes the quandary becomes, God, who can I be myself with,
Right.
right? Without feeling like I'm being taken advantage
Mm-hmm.
of or for being me,
Yes.
right? So if that's the type of person I am, and I am,
Mm-hmm.
then I have to be careful,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
About who I'm even giving my time and my
Says
space
too.
to.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna change. I'm not gonna not be a giver. I'm not gonna. That's my love language.
Language.
That's
Right.
what it is.
Yes.
So I don't mind, but I don't want to be taken advantage of
Right. And I,
because I've been there,
yes,
done that.
absolutely.
Got the T-shirt, the hat.
You're
What?
right. If they open the book, your face is there. Yes.
What?
And I, it's funny because I think my love language is receiving, but I also like to give. I'm a giver as well. I give. I love to give. I just have never been in a place or it doesn't feel well to me to ever be able to come in my pockets, out of my pockets. I'm still learning with this concept of, should a man pay every time going to dinner? And I'm like, absolutely. Now I can and I do out of because I want to do that because that person appreciates that to the center
Absolutely.
core. Like he absolutely deserves to be treated. I have no problem with that, but I will never be Becky in the sense that I'm getting ready to set you up for the whole like I can't because if I need to
Hmm.
build you, I'm not building a man.
Somebody said that there's this thing. Women are saying, "I'm tired of build a bears.
Yes.
I don't want to build a bear." Oh my gosh.
No.
I get it. I get it. And some things are innate. Some things are
Mm-hmm.
natural.
Yes.
And there are men. There are plenty of men out there that feel that very same way.
What?
That
Yeah.
he feels like this is what I'm going to do.
Yes.
This is what I have to do. Now, if my woman wanna, every now and then like, babe, listen,
I got
I
this.
got this.
Yes.
Let me get this. Let me get this because you know what I'm saying. Or it may, for me, it may look different. I may go buy a pair $500-$600 shoes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Or
Yes.
I might go, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Because that's what I love.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So I think it's just as long as it's reciprocal
Yes.
and he has that core value,
Yes.
right, in him that, yo, this is my woman and I want
Yes.
her to be happy. I want her to do
Yes.
and be all that
Yes.
she can do and be. And if I can, have something to
Yes.
do with that, then that's what I want to do. And any good woman, because you got some, listen,
Yes.
I'm not
Absolutely.
saying, because
All.
yes, you have some women that'll take advantage of that. And it's been my experience that those are the women that usually get those kinds of men,
Right,
right?
absolutely. Well, they say you attract what
Oh my
it's that
gosh.
attraction piece, where you will keep attracting the same thing over and over again. And for me, I have continued to attract narcissistic type men that do have money. So there's a problem with that as well. So it is a balancing act, but at the end of the day, I'm all about love and whatever it takes for people to be there. And I think that's part of the things that's missing in relationships is that people aren't being honest. And I think love is one of the things that's missing, and love conquers all. And I do believe that. I'm a hopeless romantic in that sense of things,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm passionate about that as well. But I think a lot of times we rush into relationships. And for the first time in my life, I've said, I'm cool. I am so okay being single. I do not want a relationship. I'm cool without a relationship. It's not even on my focus of it's not even my top 10 things that I want to achieve for myself right now. And if it comes along, great. I'll, maybe ride that wave,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't care. I've been single most of my life, to be honest with you. I've had a couple of relationships here and there, but I like being single. I
Wow.
think it's I think people I think it's underrated. And
Wow.
there is something to be said to be in a relationship and a healthy relationship, but I would dare say that most of the relationships that exist are not happy. And I'm happy single. I can do what I want. I don't have to answer to no one. I don't have to listen to anyone. I don't have to deal with the cheating, the side pieces, the DM, my phone. I don't need to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the independence. Yes, there's times when you're like, I would like to share. I would like to be in a relationship and maybe even use the word lonely. But that lonely doesn't really exist in my world right now. I do have a lot going on, but loneliness, there's too much to do
Wow.
for myself.
Well, I'm a serial monogamist, right? So
Okay.
I haven't been in many relationships.
Yes.
The relationships that I have been in have been long term.
Okay.
Um, I really don't know how to date, right?
Okay.
Like to be dating like
Yes.
multiple people because I'm like, God, that
You got
energy,
to. You
like you
have
gotta
to.
split. Okay, I'm hearing you, girlfriend. Look, and I'm willing to try.
Yes.
Um, and maybe it's been a long time coming, right? Because like I said, I, I'm a serial monogamous girl. We
Okay.
meet, we good. Oh,
Right.
you my man, I'm your woman. We
Yes.
going.
Okay.
We going to see what
Yes.
this is gonna be. You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? Um,
I like it.
and so with that, I'm willing to try something different. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I would be successful um, at dating, like giving my energy and being
You have to.
um, wow. So y'all hear her, right? She's saying that I need to do that.
Yes.
She's saying that I need to date more than one person,
Yes.
be out there just doing my thing.
Five
So
at
I'm
least.
oh my
Five.
gosh. So I'm gonna listen. What I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna keep you guys posted, right? I'm gonna try something. I don't I don't see myself being successful in that, but I'm gonna try because I am a hopeful romantic. I love love. I
Okay.
love the concept. I love the energy. I love that. I mean, and it is. It's just really who I am.
Good.
Just this one big great ball of love, right? And I want to give it and I want to receive it. So,
But you have to have choices for that to kind of
oh my
transpire as
gosh.
well. And I think as the older we
I'm
get,
listening,
the
A.
older we get,
Oh my
I don't have a
gosh.
lot of time to muddle through because by the time I'm 6 months in, I feel, and now all the red flags and all of that just happens.
Mm-hmm,
Well, you
mm-hmm.
can be dating multiple people. You can be
Wow.
dating 3 to 4 guys and being like, you know what, that really don't work. And then, or maybe that does work. He's great here,
Uh-huh.
and Jim is great here, and Tyrone is great here, and it all just works.
Hey, we're gonna have a conversation. Listen,
I like
listen, tribe.
it.
We're gonna have us. Miss A and I are gonna have a conversation offline. She gonna have to write me some index cards or something, some cue cards
Right.
or something, because I do personally. I know that I have. There's more time behind me than in front
I
of
mean,
me.
yeah.
I'm extremely alive and vibrant,
Yes.
and just want to, I am living, I am definitely
Yes.
living my best life and pouring into everybody
Yes.
that would listen.
Yes.
Anybody that would
Yes.
listen, I am pouring into, because I know that God said that he would not withhold any good thing
Mm-hmm.
from those that love him.
Yes.
And I love God with all that's
Yes.
in me. And so I know that that person is coming. I believe, I said, God, maybe you're preparing me
Mm-hmm.
for him and him for me. And maybe in the meantime, I should try and do that. I really don't know how. And
Yes.
I'm
A lot of
confessing
us
that
don't.
to,
I can't say
to the
that I
world.
necessarily know how to do it
Cause
either,
oh my
but
God.
I just think that's just doing it. I mean, I don't think there's much about it. I mean, I can't say from personal experience per se, but I really do believe that that should be our approach to dating.
Wow.
And I think we could get a little bit further than just the same thing, because we're kind of doing the same thing and not making any progress.
Well,
So let's get to a place where, but I also think, and real quick, shout out to Denver, but not to Denver. Denver is awful for Black women in dating. So there, that piques a little challenge as well
I believe
with
that.
that. But that doesn't mean that we can't move about and go city to city or state
Cause
to
yes, when
state.
I travel,
Yeah. Yeah, it's different.
yes,
It's
Lord,
different.
it
It's
is different.
different.
It's a
It's a
different
different vibe.
energy.
Yeah,
It's a
automatic.
different energy. It's a
Yes.
different vibe. Absolutely,
So,
absolutely,
with that, I think we do a disservice for ourselves. And I think it's important. And I think that's
hmm,
part of some of our upbringing,
absolutely,
with what is a woman and our sexualities and all of those things. You got to be
absolutely.
the good girl and you got to, I don't think being a good girl has gotten any of us anywhere. So, do you
Oh my
and, and,
gosh!
and have fun doing it,
Right, right,
and,
right,
and, and,
right.
and, and, everything's safe, but what do you have to lose?
Wow. Well, yeah, tribe, you heard it right
Yes.
here. This A has, I don't know, has me thinking. I'm going to I don't know. Maybe it's time that I do something a little different.
Yes.
So I'll keep you posted, tribe. But listen, I want you to um, like, share, subscribe. Also, put your comments in
Yes.
and tell us what you're thinking in regards to, is there community, yes or no, and why you feel that way, and in regards to relationships, should one that is single, loves God, right? Um, hasn't been in a lot of relationships, because the relationships that I've had have been long term. Should one try something different
Absolutely.
and get into the dating situation? So yes, please comment. Let us know what you're thinking. This is part one. We'll be back. Um, we're gonna start this again. We're gonna start coming on weekly. Um, and it's gonna take you guys out there in the community, though. We need you to subscribe. We need you to share. We need you to like. We need you to listen, tune in, and tell us what you're thinking. Tell us what you're feeling. I'm open to having guests. Like I said, in the community, it is my job. It is my duty to highlight, to illuminate people in our community, because I unapologetically love us,
Yes.
right? Unapologetically love us. And yeah, I think we just need to talk about it. That there needs to be a conversation happening, um, some transparency,
Mm-hmm.
right? Us just talking about the things that we're concerned about, that
Yes.
concerns us, that concerns our issues, because nobody is gonna come in and fix it for us. We have to do what we need to do to heal ourselves, to make community,
Yes.
right? Communicate with one another and understand that we can't do it alone.
Absolutely.
Me, my four, and no more is not sustainable.
Right. That's true.
So, anything else? Anything you wanna tell our tribe? And she's gonna be back, and I'm gonna have her talking a little bit more about what she's doing. Yes, because she's a little shy right now. But I told her she's a dope individual. Otherwise, she wouldn't be sitting here at my table. I only So we're gonna have Miss A back.
Thank you.
Absolutely, for part 2 of Black love, community, and any other topics, like I said, that you guys want to hear or talk about.
Yes.
We're here to do that. So once again, know that it's about you, it's about me, and yes, it's about us. See you guys next week. Holla!
It's about you. It's about me. It's about us.
It's about you. It's about me. It's about us. Let's live our lives on purpose. You can talk to her. You can tell her what's wrong. She'll encourage you. Yeah. She'll help you be strong. 'Cause you're her brother. You're her sister. Tell you always got your back. You ain't gotta worry about that. 'Cause it's all about you. It's about you. Oh yeah. It's about me. It's about us. Let's live our lives on purpose.
It's about you. It's about me. And yes, it's about us. Welcome to Living Life on Purpose with Tonya.
This podcast is powered by The Plug.